it's good because I get to make a very short speech, but one that's well deserved. Tom Pedretti chose not to run for re-election probably back in October. Some of us came up with this wonderful idea that we were going to run for that position. During the spring, the primaries, we had what I call three good candidates: myself, Scott Sistick, and John Boyle running for the position. The voters spoke. Voters recognized, looking in the paper, all the bad things that are coming out of Harrisburg. They knew what we wanted in this area. They wanted a true leader, and that's what they did. They elected themselves the next leader for the 57th district of Pennsylvania, and that is John Boyle. Great pleasure. John Boyle, the candidate for change.
It's an honor to get that kind of introduction from one of the class acts in Greensburg and Westmoreland County in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Our former acting director of Homeland Security. I'm honored and humbled to get that kind of response from Bud. Thank you very much. And I got to tell you another thing. On election night, the kind of campaign that we ran. I heard some of the first phone calls I got were from Scott Sistick. He was down in New Stanton and congratulating me, and Bud Mertz and his family actually came over to where we were celebrating. It's still one of the, I get butterflies in my stomach every time I think about him and his family coming over and shaking hands and saying, congratulations, whatever we can do, we're behind you 100%. And Scott and Bud, true to their words, they've been helping me along. I'm going to need all the help I can get. This is going to be a tough race. It's a targeted race, so I'm deeply in debt to you guys for all the help you've given me so far and everything you'll do for me coming up, because I'm going to need it. Also, I'd like to congratulate you guys for building such an audience here for the Democratic Club. The Democratic Club was one of the first places I stopped to, the Democratic Club of Greensburg, when I was campaigning way back in early November. And we were in the coffee shop next door, and there were about 10 or 12 people there. And it's nice to see these numbers grow, and I hope they grow exponentially from here as well, because these candidates do have a great message. And my message, I think, is pretty simple. We need reform in Harrisburg. We need to change the way we do business in Harrisburg. We need to reduce the size and the cost of our state legislature. We have the largest state legislature in the country that spends way too much money on themselves. They're going to spend $340 million on themselves this year. It's got to change. We got to reduce that. We need real healthcare and energy policy reform in this country. And that's a national issue that I'm sure Steve, and I've heard Steve address these issues, and he's brilliant at it. But it doesn't mean that Pennsylvania can't be a leader in energy policy and healthcare reform. We need healthcare reform to reduce the skyrocketing costs of healthcare on small businesses and people who are self-employed that are paying $1,500, $1,600, up to $2,000 a month just so that they can make sure that they get healthcare. We need to make sure that if you do pay those exorbitant costs for health care, that it's there when you need it, that it covers pre-existing conditions, and that you're not denied care. We need to make sure that we use our resources in this state, our coal, our oil, solar, wind. We need to fund these programs to make sure that we wean ourselves off of foreign oil and that we have replenishable resources in the future to reduce our energy costs and our reliance on foreign oil. We can do this in Pennsylvania. It's, like I said, it's a national effort, but I believe we can do this in Pennsylvania. I can't do all these things that I want to do in Harrisburg without your support, and I'm asking for your vote and your support here today. If you have friends, relatives, neighbors, please tell them about me and my candidacy. Please get in touch with our campaign. Our campaign office is open full-time now, right on the corner of Westminster and West Pittsburgh Street here in Greensburg. I encourage you to stop by. If you can volunteer and help out, that would be great. And I got to tell you this too, I cannot even fathom beginning to take on these tasks in the legislature without my friend Mike Obardo. If any of you live in his district or know folks there, Mike is the real deal. He's going to be a fabulous leader in Harrisburg. He has great ideas, he has great passion, and I'm looking forward to working with him and with the other folks in the Democratic caucus in Harrisburg. I'm also looking forward to working with Tony Bompiani, so please send him to Harrisburg as well. He's another brilliant mind has great ideas on property tax reform, and I kind of rely on him on those issues. He's fought those battles at the school board level, and he's terrific. And then Steve O'Donnell, I've heard him speak passionately on health care. And if anybody's going to get something done in Washington to make sure it gets done, it's going to be Steve O'Donnell. So, gosh, folks, we have a great slate of candidates from the top down. I'm looking forward to campaigning with all these folks throughout the fall and the late summer months. And again, thank you so much for all of your support in the past and your support going forward. I look forward to seeing you all down the campaign trail. Thanks very much. I gotta go knock on some doors, so I gotta roll. Thanks, folks.